The wild here doesn't whisper, it roars. Glaciers crack like thunder. Waterfalls carve paths through time. And in the middle of it all, she waits. Motor yacht unbridled. A sanctuary of warmth and refinement in the heart of Alaska's untamed frontier. Bears wander the shoreline. Whales breach on the horizon. Seals nap on drifting ice while you sip champagne on the aft deck. This isn't a cruise, it's a calling, and only the bold will answer. Now booking your next unforgettable charter, yachtunbridled.com or through your preferred charter broker.
Top of the morning, folks. It's Captain Liam here, Motor Yacht Unbridled in Sitka, Alaska. Another beautiful day, luckily. We've got the honour of having Garry Kyle from Meridian Go here. How are you, Garry?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, we've just talked about the background. There's a lot more than just Meridian, isn't there, to you? You're a bit of an entrepreneur, innovator, successful man in your own right, and you're taking a dip into yachting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's been a wild ride from not knowing anything about the ocean to, buying a few boats here in Texas and the final one moving it to Fort Lauderdale, trying to figure things out. Got my captain's license.
Congrats.
Had a family on for several summers and that kind of thing. And then eventually bought a bigger boat and that kind of thing. So yeah, just, love the water. And then because we bought a boat, we needed crew. That's how I got involved with actually a crew business, which is software that connects guys like you with available crew. But yeah, we've been doing that for like the last, 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the last vessel you had was an 82 Princess, correct?
I'm sorry?
The last vessel you had was the 82 Princess.
It was. Yeah. 82 Princess. I wasn't having much fun on the 51-foot boat doing all the work myself, right? Everybody that came on the boat was having a vacation except for me because I'm doing doing everything. I didn't even vacation from my what they call a vacation, and everyone else is having a great time. So I said, buy something bigger with crew, and that's what we did. Yeah, the 82 Princess.
Perfect. That's when you got into the crew side of things. And I can see you've got that smile about you. You love the ocean. We talked about Ketchikan. You just about fishing. We talked about spear fishing. What kind of draws you? One of the questions is, what draws you to the maritime sector, to the yachting sector? I mean, you've been to the boat shows. You've seen all that energy. What gives it that spark? Because it is a unique industry.
No, it really is. I think a couple things. I learned early on that my body responds well to the ocean. I mean, and probably this is for everyone. Maybe it's just human nature, but like anytime you're on a boat on water, I feel my blood pressure just literally drop, right? Yeah. The world stops, there's nothing in front of you. So it just makes you just almost feel at home on the water, at least for me. But the industry specifically, I think it's the people. I mean, it's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing and not doing some of the other businesses or spending more time on these things. I mean, the people in the industry are amazing. It's a really close-knit industry. Everyone kind of knows each other. You go to these events, see the same people and over again. You don't get that in some of these other larger industries where your TAM or your total addressable market for whatever business you're in is just so big, which is the reason why you probably got into that in the first place, right? Yeah. It is difficult to run a business in this industry, and there's lots of reasons for that. But I would say it's the flip side of that is the people. The people make it amazing.
Yeah, it does. And, I go to these boat shows all the time. I'm going to miss them this year, but because I'm in Alaska, but I go to these boat shows and I walk around and I'm like, I've done this for 25 years. I'm like, yeah, fantastic. Wonderful to see you again. Different companies, Northern Johnson, different brokerage firms that have just given me so much in my career and always just been a rock solid thing. We talked about crew placement. The one thing that stands out to me about Meridian is you're not just giving a cookie cutter approach to it. You've kind of got you've got 3 ways people can find jobs, not just post out there. You want to talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, just real quick. So the first way is, I would say, that most captains and head of departments they use is just to get a membership. It allows you to post unlimited jobs. The other one is that now you can go search almost like Google through all the CVs, because we scan all the CVs. You put in the keywords you want, it pulls them up, and either you like them or you don't. And you can literally try to find crew in a matter of minutes. So that's that. The other one is we did something innovative, and we talked about that earlier about we need more innovation in this industry. And so a couple of years ago, I was thinking, well, how can we make recruitment. So that's a platform side of things, but this one is more like a recruitment thing. We built the software so that if you said, "Hey, Gary, I need this second stew or something like that, or first officer or whatever," you give us a call. We send that job out now to 10, 12, 14 recruitment agencies. They all go to work for you, right? They're competing with each other, and they send in their best 3 candidates. So now you have a better experience. You have like a bigger pool to fish from. Basically when you're looking for someone. So that's called Recruiter Cloud. And then the other one is we help you. Basically, if you just don't have the time or you're in charter or whatever, we'll help you kind of find people. But I would say the vast majority of it's a membership-based thing.
Okay, so there's direct hire, concierge hire, and then the Recruiter Cloud. They're 3 good platforms. And we talked about the industry, kind of how tight it is. You see a lot of these crew going through vessel to vessel to vessel, and you hear the different reputations. So that's what I do enjoy about you. Your platform kind of cuts through a lot of that and gives, I think the facts that I've kind of got here from the company are pretty impressive. Within the first 72 hours, you'll have 20 plus candidates. You'll have, pre-screened applicants, less time wasted on CVs. So that's what kind of stands out to me. For me, my experience in the industry, we talked about the kind of lack of automation and the challenges we have within that small knit community that we're trying to move forward. What's some of the kind of, challenges have you faced or you've seen in the 3 years that you'd say, you know what, I'd like to try and move the needle a little bit to be more efficient in yachting?
Wow, that's a really good question. There's so many. And I will say that, with all these different challenges in this industry, it's not short of any ideas. It's just the execution. And sometimes, because it is a small industry, it has to make sense to actually spend the time and the dollars for that solution, to make work. And I think that's where a lot of these things kind of fall down. And maybe it's the reason why we're not seeing a lot of innovation, in this industry. But with that being said, we're focused on what we can do, where our expertise is, how we can make things better for you guys when you're looking for crew. So we're always adding new features, new details. I just talked to you candidly and confidentially about a new product that we're thinking about launching that is based around word of mouth. So, if that takes off, because that's where you guys go first, it would literally put our current business out of business. And that's okay. We would be involved with that and we want that, but ultimately what we want is what's best for the industry to really move the needle, to change how things are going, to make it better for crew first, because they are the ones spending all the time looking for work, creating the CV, pushing it to 20. It's a lot of work on their end, pushing it to 50 people, 50 recruitment agencies and uploading them on, databases like ours. But then also for you guys too, we'll make it better for you guys, a better experience for you guys too. But we think that might have some legs.
But it'll change the industry. And the reason I say that is because I'm very crew centric, don't get me wrong, but I'm also going to be vulnerable with you, Gary, here and go to the core of me and say, I'm here for the clients. And in the end of the day, they're the clients and the owners who pay the money. Like yourself with your experience on the 82, you want a crew that are positive and come to work and have a good attitude and give that little bit extra. So for me, although it starts at the crew, it's measured by the clients. And after 25 years in yachting, I see these clients, they know what they want. They want positivity. They want professionalism. They want everything. So if we can lift the standard of crew, we can get more for the clients, which means more clients, which means bigger boats, which means a better industry in a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. And I have some ideas around that too. My crew, and I think, the response from them, I treated them different than I think most crew that are on boats. They went to all of our family events, everything, right? And we're still all good friends now that we sold the boat. So I'm not sure that happens, but it all starts with, just a good manager, like yourself. Like, I think I was a good owner, Cap was a good manager, and we had a lot of candid conversations about, hey, this is the drama that's going on the boat. How do we fix it? Hey, tell my captain, here's what you need to think about. This is your job. You go do it. But here's from my experience of businesses and employing people. Here's what you should do. So I think captains that do that take the time, just have low turnover, have a better experience. The owner has a better experience when you don't have the turnover. You have longevity. You have the same faces on board all the time. Yeah. That's key. I think one thing that we can do better in this industry is just pay crew more. And I think it starts from when guys like me buy a boat, right? I think a broker needs to say, here's a one-page thing. Here are the expectations in the industry. Here are the expectations as far as pay for each one. I think let's bump it all up 20%. Let's attract better people. I'm not saying that there's not good people in the industry. I think there could be better people in the industry with more experience as far as hospitality and things like that. And I think that to your point, that's what's going to lead to a better experience, for the owners.
Absolutely. I watch sports. I love sports. I always try and pretend I'm not competitive, but I actually am quite competitive. I do enjoy success. I enjoy having a great charter experience with the clients. I enjoy giving them, when they say this is the best charter, I'm like, yes, we won. We won, you know what I mean, as a team. But I look at it like I almost tell Crew, I said, Crew, you're in play as a professional athlete. You're on contract. You've got jobs, you've got your training behind you. And I wish kind of more people in the industry would take that approach, almost like having your own personal manager, you know what I mean? That you could kind of go within the industry and help you progress in the different stages. Because it feels like when you're in one boat, that's it. And then you go to the next boat, it's a whole different management structure, and it's a whole different management structure. So kind of companies like you really do lift our standard and say, all right, well, at least we now can foresee a 10-year career. And if we work with companies like Meridian, they'll help us get different placements as we go that provide success,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So leadership and vision, you say it's one of the most important things. How do you find the tools in the industry? You've met a lot of captains, a lot of industry leaders. Where do you see any space for training that we can bring into it, as opposed to the corporate world?
I mean, yes. And, like I said, I have a lot of I think they're great ideas. They probably have a lot of ideas about it, just like all of us do. I think it just, the hurdle is that how much time and money do you want to put in, and will you see an ROI on it? Right. I mean, that is the thing. I mean, I think, like MPT is a great school, right?
Yeah.
They're one of our partners. Could there be another hands-on type school where you go and it's like all these greenies coming in? It seems like, before 10, 15, 20 years ago, captains were more willing to kind of help groom up crew, show them how to throw lines and do things of that nature. And now there's just not a lot of time for it. And there is a, influx of a lot of green crew. Maybe there's a school where it's like, hey, you go and you learn how to, tie lines. You do all the major stuff, like how to scrub teak, what equipment to use or not use, and why that'll damage the boat. Same thing with interior. You can do some basic stuff so that they're coming in with at least some experience. And I think that they would actually pay for it. Honestly, it might be their moms and dads probably doing it, right?
Yeah.
But so there's things like that. I mean, there's lots of, I think, could be done as far as education or school and
yeah. But I think like in the corporate structure, they're obviously tertiary educatedly trained. They're going through universities and degrees. They're looking at leadership styles, and in yachting, that's kind of the opposite. We go to sea for a living and we have different jobs, but then we've got to wear multiple hats as a captain, whether it's a mentor, whether it's an accountant, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's a diplomat. But I think I've always wanted to see this kind of cadetship style thing come into yachting, where people can join and do their courses remotely as they train. So it's a year on board from a junior decky to a yacht master or something like that, or whatever it is in the interior department, from 0 to kind of 1 year where you're doing onboard training. And that's where I see the industry lacking, is the onboard training. It's like, here's your job, but good luck, wear it out, good luck getting through the season, and I hope we still work together. Where it's like, well, it's over a year, let's take you from here to here.
No, I mean, that is the challenge, isn't it? Like, you're working, on your rotation. I mean, if you do get it, which is not often, but usually you're busy and you don't have time to go to another port and do training and that kind of thing, right? So I do like the online aspect of things. And I think there was a commercial company that had a bunch of online training. I forget the name of it. If you said it, I would recommend it. I'm sorry? Yeah.
No, I don't recall it. Don't recall that one.
But then they got in the yachting space about a couple years ago. I'm sure it's still around, where you can go take a bunch of online courses. And I think it's like all you can eat, like you pay a monthly fee and you can take all the courses you like or something like that. So I think there's something out there with some basic stuff. But no, I agree. I think something needs to be, all inclusive, really, for every role on board, so that you could take it, when you have time on your breaks, start it. Maybe you only got 10 minutes, continue on.
I think usually, I mean, the crew on our vessel, a lot of times you have to schedule in the day. You're paid for it. You're paid to continue your education. That should be the way it happens. Like a lot of the stewardesses will do a butler course here when they join. We'll put them through a butler course, and okay, each day between, like, let's say, I think it's 1 to 3, they usually spend 2 hours, or 2 hours maybe if the time available off charter, and that's where the time needs to be spent, off charter, on payroll, doing a course. And you see the difference between when they start the course to when they finish it, the way they move, the different standards. And there's not really tools that I have, you know what I mean? But that's finding the right crew. Culture and team dynamics. When you have crew joining a vessel, either from an owner perspective or from a company perspective, what are your thoughts? How do you match someone to the culture of the vessel, or do you see the red flags? And that's a big thing in the industry right now, is seeing these red flags and going, how do I avoid that? And how do you manage that within a big company like Meridian?
Well, it's impossible, honestly. People say they're good at hiring or whatever. They're not. I mean, it's just you're taking chances, right? I mean, you hire, I always say, like, hire fast, fire faster, right? And the reason why I say that is because, in an interview like we're doing right now, I'm going to spend 20 minutes with you or 40 minutes with you, and maybe another interview. I have less than an hour, but that first week that I had with you, I'm working with you 40 hours, 40 times what I've spent with you. I will know in the first week if you're going to be good or not. In an environment. And I bet it's even faster, probably after 2 or 3 days, if it's on a boat with 15 crew trying to see if you're all going to gel or not.
Yeah, it's a lot quicker. It's like by the time the luggage shows on the dock, sometimes people have made their mind. And I have this thing, I say 3 months, people, no judgment for 3 months. Let's let people settle in, give them a chance, help them through it.
Yes.
But so many.
No, I totally agree. No, and I was going to say the other saying that I like to say is, like, train them up or train them out, because, either they can accept guidance, right? They can be told the first time, and they literally need to go write it down in a journal. They don't have to be told again. And so either they will set up things, take their job seriously, like you said, like a player on a professional team, or they won't. So you have to candidly have these conversations with them that, hey, you're missing the mark. Here's how you can correct it. We expect you to correct it because you are a professional. So, I think those type things, and then you will know right away they're trainable or they're not trainable, and then you have to, push them out. Yeah.
Well, I give them opportunities elsewhere. That's what I say. So, let's look at the paths we're going down, and we don't seem to be aligning. And that's where I like Premier League football or soccer, and all sorts of soccer. But the point about soccer is you've got a team of 11 people, or any sport, you've got a team. And if someone in that team has not got the same goal, whether it's client-centric or maintenance on a vessel, then you've got to realign. 1 week, it's all about clients, and everyone's just head first into one client, their names, their details. Next week, you're going into a yard period. It's like, okay, team, we have to readjust. This is not about being client-centric anymore. This is about executing what the owner wants us to do in budget, in time, and we get out. And that's what I find. That's why I love yachting, because it's like every week is like, for me this week, we go to sea tomorrow, Sitka to Port Angeles, and then that's a big challenge. It's a long trip. It's a tender on tow. We're kind of wrapping it all up today, push runners down. And last week we were on charter, flat out with these clients, just trying to get into their headspace to try and give them something that they can walk away with saying, wow, Alaska on Unbridled with that crew was awesome. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, you said something, just a second ago where you help them find their next, I always say, like, you're not happy here, right? This isn't a good fit, and maybe it's just because it's just an impedance mismatch between you and the other crew. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that on this boat, this program, these people is just maybe not the best match. Don't force yourself. I mean, do everything you can, but don't be so unhappy that it affects everyone. Like, maybe there is a better boat and there is a better boat for you that vibe is going to vibe, with them. And you might be the better vibe, and the other ones are trying to, elevate their resistance. Right. So, no, you're right. It's helping them find their happiness, somewhere else. So you got to do it quickly, we're all human. It's like, we could all stick out things to where we'd be miserable and do it. But sometimes it takes, honesty and a real leader to say, you're not happy here. I see it. You don't see it. I know you're a hard worker. You're really trying to force yourself, a round peg into a square hole, and I hope you not do that, and you will thank me later.
Yeah.
On that boat that you're perfect on. So yeah, I would say that as well.
Well, I appreciate this, Gary. I'm learning a lot. The thing about management and leadership is you have to be able to continuously learn and adapt and evolve. For me, it's the energy levels on a boat a lot of times. And it's unquantifiable. But sometimes you bring in someone who's new and they got so much energy and they want to change things and they want to adjust things. I'm like, just when I joined, I said, just respect the space of others to start with. And it's the owner's boat, and just don't change anything for the first couple of weeks or months. It might not be the way you do things, but just respect the people who have been here a year or two and see how things evolve patiently. Looking forward now, because I want to take you a very valuable, person time as well. Looking forward here for Meridian, where do you see kind of Meridian or yourself or the yachting community kind of going in a couple of years? Let's say 5 years. Iron's seem to be a big tool.
Yes, exactly. I mean, wow, the phones have changed everything, and I would say, leading into that, I would say now AI is going to be changing everything. So I think I see a lot of these processes, changing, for the better with AI. I'm looking into how we can add. We're already going to add in a few AI features, but I mean, this is what we know now. Can you imagine what AI is going to do in 6 months or 12 months? And I tell people like, wanting to start businesses now, it's part of every single conversation that I have. It's like, will your business stand up against AI? And they're like, well, I haven't thought about that. Well, you need to think about that, because what you're trying to do could literally be destroyed in 3 or 4 months, with these AI capabilities. And you might have a team of 12 or 20, but one guy sitting, one high school kid or even college kid that understands it very well could literally displace you in no time, right? So,
exactly. The industry itself, like the brokerage, the way people get charters, the way people employ crew, you've got to be on the front of it,
And I think it is beneficial. That this is where innovation really does change things, and I think this industry does need something to change. I mean, think about it. Like, as a captain, you've used recruiters before, correct?
Yeah.
Has that process changed in 20 years?
The access to the recruiters there's more of them. There's just so many recruiters. That's the thing. But the tools they have has changed greatly. Like what you have in your platform. Yes. For me to all of a sudden look for crew independently, that's what's different. And that's what I kind of enjoy, because it's kind of like, you've got a crew member that's not working out. You've had a conversation. There's a notice period, or you're working through it. At the end of the season, we're going to make these changes. Then I start looking for crew as opposed to being sent crew. And that's what I'm looking forward to in the future, is getting more and more tools to try and keep looking for crew and put them on short lists. And I see Meridian, you've got a kind of favorite lists that you can kind of go to, how many interviews you've done. The data means a lot to me. My brother always has this saying, if it can't be measured, it can't be managed. And
Good saying. That's a great, yeah.
I don't know where it came from, but it's always something I use every day. Engineers don't like it because I measure the work lists, but
no, like before I was a medical device sales rep, and even before that, I've done sales my whole life, and I would take advantage. I'm not just candidly speaking. I would take advantage every now and then. I'd be like, oh, they're not measuring it. They can't really track it. Sure, overall they're tracking sales, but day to day, not really. They're just like, hey, you have the numbers at the end of the month or at the end of the quarter, yes or no, and if you have 50 people that you're competing with, just be in the top 10. They'll never mess with you. So I see it from that standpoint. But now as an owner and manager, like, yes, you have to measure it. I don't know why, especially the whole work from home environment. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to, and we always did. The last company I gave everyone every other Friday off, because I'm like, either you're going to take it or you're going to give it, one or the other. And so we're like, this is the time to schedule your medical appointments for your children. This is the time to go take your dog to get it washed. It's the time to do your laundry, because you're going to do it anyway. So, set those expectations up front, but also measure them, right? Trust the verify. Yeah, I love that. So it seems like all of us know that innately, but it all comes down to us saying, right?
Exactly. That's why I kind of enjoyed Meridian. I get your emails here, and I think this one's from recently, just September 1st. The numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that was just today or yesterday, actually. I got it yesterday and I printed it out, because that's what makes a difference to me in the business I'm in, is where's the trends? How many crew have I got? What's the turnover? How many charters have I got on the books? What's coming? What's the budget for the winter? What's coming next? I really enjoy that space. When I got your email, I'm like, that man thinks the right way. You know, you've got a company that's successful. The numbers don't lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't lie.
No, and like it's all automated. I mean, we don't actually go in and even look at them. It's just like, hey, some months we don't have as many captains join. Some months we don't have a crew join. We're going to tell you that, you know, and it's almost like, hey, if the people that are applying, if you know that, like, okay, well, this month he didn't have as many, you know, Murray didn't have as many crew join or whatever. You're like, okay, well, that is why some of the candidates aren't as good this month. And you're going to see somewhere, you're going to have a lot of candidates, you know, like when it's hiring season in our industry, and you're going to be like, okay, wow, the candidates are a little better this month. But, you know, we do believe in numbers. We're going to share them with you, and, you know, and hope for the best. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
It's funny. We're talking about crew and crew turnover, and the end of the season just happened here in Umbrella, and we've got a transition period in a month here. And I had a crew meeting, and I kind of said, what's the concerns here, crew? What's the concerns? Everyone's like, well, some of us might get fired. I'm like, fair enough. It's the end of season. It happens. Everyone's emotional. I always say too, when you come to the end of the season, you have to be physically, mentally exhausted to get the success we want. The level we want to achieve for these clients is so unachievable. We have to exhaust ourselves physically and mentally to give everything to get there. And I'm tired. I'm exhausted. You know, the crew should be tired. And then I said to him, you know what? No changes in September. How about that? How about we don't make any changes in September? We enjoy the platform. We enjoy the program. Let's just relax and bring it down a bit. And then let's all review in October how we're feeling, what our next steps are career-wise, or whatever we want to do. But let's just settle down for September. And they're all like, it's a good idea. I just thought of it, but let's enjoy, you know? So they're the challenges we face every day.
No, like the crew go through so much. I mean, you're right. To have that perfect experience for owners and guest charters and things of that nature, I mean, they're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a week. So there's the unrealistic expectation right there. And then, candidly, owners want to, you know, it takes 10%. You know, of the yacht's value to basically run the boat. You know that. And I think sometimes enough problem 15%. You know, it's even more. I think that needs to be expressed early on. You know, the owners need to take ownership of those numbers and say, look, crew can't work 16-hour days every single day for 7 days, and then flip a boat and then do it again. Like, why not just have an extra crew member? Like, up the budget 20%, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have a better experience. You're going to have more charters coming through your boat because they're going to have a better experience. They don't want to come back to a boat that gave them the best experience. So it's tough. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
We talked about rotation and all that, and you know, and I don't want to take much more of your time. I mean, the day started here on Unbridled. It's 8 o'clock. The crew are going for it. So I have to go too. But you know, the way I kind of think it should work is season to season. You know, you do a season. There's always this couple of months on either side, which is maintenance or transition or travel, you know, passages. You know, I try and get the crew all through a season, take a break. All through another season, take a break. And I think that's the most guest owner centric approach to the management of a yacht. You know, because the rotation, the owners want to see the same people. They want to see the chef Calvin that we have on board and the chief steward Tiff and, you know, the Dan. They want to see the same people because they have a relationship with them. Dan knows how to drive the tender slowly for the owner as he gets on board. He knows the views he wants to have. He knows the style of fishing. So that's where I think the industry goes a little bit too away from the core principle, which is be owner-centric, be guest-centric, and elevate to that level. Because for them, and in closing, for me, to get that moment of pleasure for these people like yourself as an owner, it's difficult. Like it's so short, you know, to sit there, like you're saying, on the back of a boat after a good day spearfishing with your glass of wine or tea, whatever. It's a hard moment to get that feeling. It only lasts 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 2 minutes. And it's like, no, but that's the moment that keeps people coming back.
It is. And it's a hard thing to capture, right?
Yeah.
Because if your experience isn't a 10 out of 10 and you have a lot of crew turnover and guys like me or people that are coming on your boat, well, as the owner, and we're not getting the same experience every time, it's why am I doing this? Why am I spending this money on this yacht program? I come here 4 or 5 times a year, and then I see a different crew and I get a different experience. Everything has to start over. I don't get to go to the favorite fishing spots to do the spearfishing that I like to do. Like you said, like the guy drives a tender way too fast. He doesn't know what I'm looking for. And the difference is, maybe paying crew a little more, or having this on board. I know these are really hard things to do, but what I'm saying is like, whatever it takes, and those are just 2 examples, but whatever it takes to keep crew. And I think it comes back to having great managers like yourself, great captains that understand business and low turnover and what it takes and why longevity matters and those things. If you can capture that, it's the magic. But if you can't capture that, then I think owners are looking for maybe a way out after 4 or 5 or 6 years, right?
Yeah. Well, I think you've hit it there, Gary. I think that's the ROI. That's the return on investment that we need to somehow quantify for the owner. Like for me, when owners or guests come, the conversations I really try and steer away from fixing the boat or cost issues, or especially when they're on the boat, or even clients want to start talking about boats and costs and buying and chartering. I'm like, no, but look, you want to go? Let's go for a walk and go check out some bears, or let's go for a kayak. Let's enjoy this moment, because those conversations generally aren't too positive in the end. Let's try and capture these quality moments here while you're on board. We can talk next week. Call me when you're at home in your office. You know what I mean? Don't worry about next year's charter. Don't worry about buying a boat or chartering another boat. Just really take some time to enjoy nature, enjoy this moment. And at the end, they're really grateful for that, because I've highlighted the priority of this moment,
What a great tip for all captains out there and all owners that might be watching. What a great tip that is. I say I tell everybody all the time, it's like, when I'm at work, I'm at work. When I'm at work, I don't dream about holiday, try to make plans. And when I'm on holiday, I'm on holiday. Like, I don't work.
Yeah. You get it.
Down that clear separation. And that touches on that point, doesn't it? It's like, you need to almost give permission to your owner, or maybe just say, look, we're not going to talk about cost or things, unless you're emergent, obviously, but like anything else, wait till Monday. I love that idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And same as crew too. Don't worry about you. Like this crew asking about winter or something. So don't worry about winter. It's not winter yet. It's September. Focus on the jobs we've got right now. Let's enjoy the process. Let's go through these stages. Let's focus on the now, because we can have a good time. Then it's going to be a challenge. It might be rainy, or we might be going to Costa Rica. We're not, so it's just, don't worry about what we can't control,
Yes, love that.
Anyway, Gary, I better get to it. I've got a crew out there. A couple of them have started to text me, go, Cap, so well, go give them some positive energy. Get ready for tomorrow's passage. But thanks for your time, Gary. How can people get a hold of the Meridian platform and yourself?
Just go to meridiango.com, MERIDIAN go.com. That's the easiest way. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Liam. Great chatting with you.
Pleasure. It was great. Yeah, usually it's only a couple of 10 minutes or something, but you and I we've found a bond here. I think it's like-minded, and we've found the ROI on why we do what we do is those small moments that we get that good energy and that good pleasure,
Absolutely.
We'll get back at it again. Hopefully get you to Alaska again next year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I would love it.
If your brand belongs in the heart of the yachting world, this is where it happens. Yachting International Radio reaches over 1 million yachting professionals and enthusiasts every month, with 77 million impressions, 220,000 social followers, and 74,000 podcast subscribers. Our hosts are insiders, crew, captains, CEOs, trusted voices shaping the industry. This is targeted, high-impact advertising in a luxury niche. Visit yachtinginternationalradio.com/advertise.